Well, the A-10 has nothing to do with aesthetics. Every win is earned, every win is critical. Every win, I believe, will be worth 2 or 3 spots at least in the standings. Every win comes against the team with a winning record and with great wins. I thought Rhode Island's games at LSU and at home against St. Louis were as well played and as intense of games as I've seen all year. They had a bad one against GW, but those 2 before it showed they can play at the highest level. St. Louis is 15-2 with losses against Wisconsin and Wichita State. Rhode Island's up 5-1 with 17 seconds left, and they lose a heartbreaker. And certainly LSU is an extremely talented team this year, and will be one of the better teams in the SEC. So, you know, I feel great that we beat a good opponent, that we grinded it out.
John, Tyrone's a point away from double figures. Otherwise, the whole starting lineup is double figures tonight. We'll give him 10 on the dunk. What did you see to have the balance? How important is that for you?
Yeah, I think it's important. But again, we really, besides making sure that Jarrell gets touches, we just really try to let the game come to everybody. We think, you know, playing the game the right way means the open guy gets the ball. And you can't tell the other team who to leave open, unfortunately. Some people say, well, why didn't this guy get more shots or whatever? Well, they covered him, you know. So get the ball to the open guy, you know, because Jarrell's so strong. We have certain things sometimes where we really make a great effort to get him the ball. But, yeah, balance and having a number of good players doesn't surprise us.
John, what changed for him? I asked him that. He wasn't shooting a very good percentage at the beginning, and now he's back to
Tyrone?
Jarrell.
No idea.
Same
you know,
shots,
he does this. Well, you know, he's no different than our whole team. He's no different than our whole team. You know, I almost wonder, a couple things about that. First, we played 7 games in the first 2 weeks, and that's when we struggled. Since we got back from the Virgin Islands, we've been pretty good. But, you know, you play so many games in so few days, and we just were out of sync on a lot of different levels. I mean, Jarrell got sick in the Virgin Islands. And the other thing is, I don't think we had a number of issues, and people played great against us, but I think one of the other things was we thought we were going to win, and then when we realized we might not, we pressed. So we were either too relaxed or under too much stress. We were just never right mentally. We were never right physically. We were just really out of sorts those first 7 games, which again happened in 14 days, pretty much 15 days. Since then, we've been better.
There were times when you didn't seem to like the defense being played out there. What was the situation? How'd you fix it? Because they didn't score much in the last few minutes.
You know, well, first, our guys have set the bar high the last few games and in the first half. So once you start holding people in the first half to 32%, I think at one point in the second half it was 58%, and certainly you want to challenge your guys because now you're getting worse, you're not getting better. That's not the idea. And so much of this game is mental, and it's grinding, and it's pushing yourself, and it's digging down on defense. It wasn't anything technical. I think it's just Rhode Island's good, and we dug down a little deeper.
Coach, at the beginning of each half, Jarrell got the ball. It seemed like, was that part of the game plan?
Yeah, well, again, our game plan is get the ball to the open guy, but do all we can to make sure it's Jarrell.
And when the game was going back and forth there in the first, Khalid Lewis checked in, and I think he went on a 5-0 spurt. Talk about that spurt in his play tonight.
Yeah, I love Khalid, and he's a good player. And that 7 weeks he had out has been really, he just got totally out of the flow of things. And in the summer, he was as good as anyone we had on our team. So I just, and his attitude's been great. I mean, you know, he certainly expected things to be a little bit easier because he was playing well and he's a proven player at the Division I level. But I can't say enough about just his persistence and his growth and being a team guy. And I just love seeing him have success. I think he's going to be a big part of our future. And I think people are just starting to see glimpses of what he can do.
John, Jarrell took 2 offensive fouls, which is something he rarely does.
It's recent. It's recent. He's taken, I think that's his 4th. He went like 0 for 2 years, and now he's had like 4 in 2 or 3 weeks.
And did that have anything to do with scouting Baruda?
No, it just, at which point does something become a habit? I don't know. I mean, in high school, he never took them. And we practiced it every day with him for 2 years, and he never took one. And now he's taking them consistently. And I just think sometimes something clicks in it, it becomes a habit. You know, it's when does a guy's golf swing get better? You know, when does a guy become a better free throw shooter? Well, they just practice it enough until the habit becomes dominant and they actually can do it in games. I think it's that simple. We've done it so many times that it's becoming more natural for them. You think it would take less than 2 years, but we'll take it.
And you're heading into a non-A10 game right in the middle of the A10 season, and it's a big one on national TV. How do you turn and focus on that and all the hype surrounding it?
Yeah, it's easy because Temple's such a great rival, and again, don't underestimate them. Look who they're losing to. They're up late against Cincinnati. They're up at the half against Memphis. Never underestimate Temple, trust me. So they're a great rival. It's going to be an incredible environment. We're playing in the most historic building in college basketball. It's just, Temple's going to be extremely motivated, will be extremely motivated. This is one of those games where you really don't have to worry about playing hard on either side, I think.
Anything else?
Coach, you seem to have gotten into a good rotation with
What
the
paper do you write?
players. Good rotation with the players. Is that how you imagine this playing out going forward, or is it game by game?
Yeah, it's game by game, you know, and it's a feel. Like I wanted to play Rohan some more, but it's a feel. Coaching is not a science. It's not a formula because everyone would follow it. It's fluid. It changes. It's feel. What works one day doesn't work the next day. So you just make hard decisions and hope that you don't mess your team up and lose the game. You just hope that at the end of the day the decisions are good enough to win. But yeah, today I would have liked to have played Rohan more because he's been playing great. But Jarrell was scoring, and Steve is such a good defender. Rohan would have done a great job, but it was just hard to take Jarrell and Steve out.
Anything else? Okay.